This is ESPN 1520, the radio home of UB basketball, the 2015 Mid-American Conference champions. UB Basketball Insider Show is presented to you by Napa Auto Parts, co-sponsored by Santora's Pizza, Pub and Grill, Kegworks, and brought to you by your Team UB partners, New Era Cap, Nike, AdPro Sports, WGRZ Channel 2, and Pepsi. The State University of New York Bulls are back and ready to defend their championship on the hardwood. Time for your UB Basketball Insider Show with head coach Nate Oats, presented by Napa Auto Parts. Now, here's Howard Simon.
Hey, good evening from Santora's Pizza Pub and Grill on Transit Road. We are excited. Boy, Nate's drawing the acclaim here, huh? That's pretty good. I don't know if Lance gets that big an applause.
We got two of them clapping over there.
No, it was more like 3 or 4.
Oh, 3 or 4?
Yeah,
okay, yeah, it was
we're excited. We got an hour of UB Bulls talk tonight. UB Basketball Insider right now with Nate, and following that at 7 o'clock, UB Football Insider with Lance Leipold. Of course, they're coming off a big win over Ohio. The basketball team getting ready. November 6th against Damon is their first game. You can get tickets right now, single game tickets, season tickets. On sale, 1-877-UB there. You can also get them online at ubbulls.com. All right, here's the burning question that everybody wants to know. Did you take part in the dunk contest or not? I heard somebody did a dunk jumping over a guy in a chair, and I thought that had to be Nate.
Yeah, maybe I could have been the guy in the chair that he was jumping over.
Okay.
I couldn't even do that because you had to throw the ball up in the right spot. So, no, I didn't participate in that.
Three-point shooting.
I tried. We tried to talk Danny into doing it, but he didn't want to do that either. We just left it up to players. I will say the men did win the three-point contest this year. Last year, the women somehow.
Oh, okay.
You
got bragging rights back.
Yeah, we got them back. I made sure I let the women know that they won that 2 years in a row.
You might have mentioned that to Felicia a little bit.
Yeah,
maybe passing in the hallway.
Some of their players that thought they were good shooters too. we let them all know.
Well, listen, you guys are busy. I was out of practice today, and I think it's interesting, Nate. The fans see the games, and I think you kind of forget how much work until you go watch practice. What a grind it can be, and how much work. It's a long practice. It's a lot of work, and it's a lot of stuff that's going into getting ready.
Yeah, I think we get 30 with the new rules for the last few years. You get 30 practices in the 42 days leading up to the first game. So I think today was number 17, if I remember right. So it's it is getting to be a grind. You want to play some other people, but we are not ready to play other people yet, so we've still got some work to do. By 30 practices, we need to be ready. But we're working on stuff. Our offense, we're trying to tweak it, make sure we're getting the best guys' shots in the right spots, and learning how to play with each other, and still playing fast but not out of control. So we got a lot of work to do offensively yet, but we've got some talent that is making some shots and can make some plays. So it's always better to work with a little bit of talent, I think.
Are you seeing progress? You mentioned you're about 17 practices in. Are they better from day one to day sit to practice 17?
No, they're a lot better. I think they've got a better idea of what we want out of them for sure. They're in much better shape. That helps. And then I think, they're learning how to play with each other, where they're going to be on drives. Shoot at first, you got a lot of drives, and guys just aren't filling the right spots, and you got 12 scholarship guys, 15 guys on the team. 8 out of the 15 are new, 6 out of the 12 scholarship guys are new. So it's going to take a little bit of adjustment, learning to play. And then the other thing is you're trying to mix them up all the time in practice. Who's going to play with who? You're not always like we hardly have ever put our first team against our second team so far because I don't even know who it is, to be honest with you. Yep. We're still trying to figure that all out.
What's that process like when you have all those new players assimilating all of those guys? Like you said, you get to learn. You got to learn tendencies. Eventually, some guy will know where another guy will be for a pass. I mean, I guess that comes with time, but it's an interesting process, right? They've all kind of got to get used to each other's tendencies.
Yeah, they do, and you got to play them with different guys. And Lamonte and Skeet have been going head to head against eeach other for a lot of practices. Today we wanted them to go with each other. They're going to have to play with each other in the games quite a bit, so we put them with each other. We want Skeet to be able to play some point, though. Blake's starting to come around. Blake's a really good passer. He's starting to figure out. Willie's the kind of guy that's got to figure out where to be on Lamonte and Skeet's drives and even Blake's drives, so he can spot up and make some threes. They're figuring that out, though. They're getting better at it for sure. You see progress with that every day. I think our bigs kind of got to figure out where they're going to get their points, playing off of the guards' drives more so than Last year we were able to punch it into Moss a lot. This year it's going to be more they're playing off the guards' drives. We don't have as good of scores as Justin was, but I think defensively we could be better on the interior.
That's what I was going to ask you. I think because it looks like you've got size. I think you're long. You got good rebounding. You should be good defensively. And I guess one of the big questions is where are the points going to come from? And maybe specifically in the front court, where are the points going to come from?
Yeah, and I think it's got to be more, points in transition, run the floor hard, points off guards, drives, bigs relocating, playing off the guards' drives. And then, we'll have some post-up plays if we do get mismatches. And then a lot of ball screen stuff, rolling hard on ball screens. Lamonte's good at finding them. Skeet's great at finding them. We've got some guards that can make our bigs look pretty good without actually having to punch it in every time down the floor.
I think that's interesting. I was watching practice today. You mentioned the guards penetrating. Lamonte in particular. You remember just how special this guy's going to be and the way he penetrates either for his own shot or handing it off to somebody. He's consistently he just slashes right to the basket.
No, he can get in the lane pretty much whenever he wants. That's where these other guys got to learn to play off him. And then Skeet's been shooting it unbelievably well in practice. So, whether Skeet's man helps off or not, once you get into games and they're scouting, he may not help, but then you put him in spots where you make him pay for not helping Monte get to the rim or somebody else. So I think when you play the two of them together and they figure out how to play with each other, then I think those bigs, the help's got to come from somewhere. So those bigs can learn to play off, and then that's where we got to get that second really good perimeter shooter, whether it's Willie Connor, C.J. Massenberg. Blake Hamilton's been playing pretty well. Somebody else, even the kid Nicola, has been shooting it well in practice. So we just figure out who that other guy is to make some shots in the perimeter.
You touched on it a moment ago, like what you'd like to see your offense do. Coaches get asked this all the time. I don't know if it makes you nuts or not, but philosophically, what are the things you would like this team to do offensively?
I want to play really fast. Give Lamonte the ball in transition. Let Skeet hit threes in transition. Let the kid like David Kadiri, who's been playing really well, just so active, let him run the floor hard in transition. That would be number one, score in transition. Second thing is I want to open the floor up and let these guards that are really good at getting in the lane, Lamonte in particular, give him driving gaps, driving angles, some ball screens with room, where it's not all clogged up in the middle, where he can get in and kind of put the ball in his hands, let him make some decisions, and let the other guys play off him a little bit. So this year, that's what I feel like is our best way to play. Let Lamonte let Jaron Skeet make some plays, bring him off some staggered, and let him get in the lane and make plays, and let our bigs kind of play off the guards' penetration.
Lamonte is the kind of guy, just kind of give him a green light. Like you said, get it, go. And you have bigs that can run with him and get up court?
Yeah, I think they're better when they're running. A kid like David Kadiri, Raheem Johnson, they're really athletic bigs. Even if we go small, Rodell can run hard at the 4. Kenna Smart runs well. We don't have plotting bigs. We've got athletic bigs. Nick Perkins would be the biggest out of those 4. And he can be a trail man and knock down threes, and he can still put it on the floor a little bit too. But he's not unathletic. He's the biggest, heaviest out of those 4 strictly interior guys, where some of the other guys would play some 3 and some 4 both.
So you talked about offense. Okay, defensively, what are some of the things you believe in on that side?
We want to pressure the ball hard, get up in, make teams really uncomfortable. I think we've got some athletes on the perimeter that can really get into people and guard. We're going to be mainly man-to-man. You did see us working on some zone there today. Yep. I like the zone. I think we've got some long athletes that make that zone look really good, which will be, get in your back pocket. If the team's getting comfortable, you run it. If we're, for whatever, we get in foul trouble, whatever reason you need to use it, it's there to use. But we want to disrupt teams in the most part, man-to-man, heavy ball pressure, early help, fill gaps, and then rebound the ball and get back out on offense. Run as hard as we can off some stops.
The guys are working hard in practice. I want to get back, like you said, 17 practices, and out of 30 get 30.
Yeah, we get 30 before the.
So just a little bit past the halfway point. I'm sure at some points, I don't know if they hit a wall or they're like, oh man, he's practicing. We're like, let's play a game. How do you keep these guys focused to make sure each day they go at it hard and they take in what you're teaching them?
It's a good question. You know what? I thought that the blue-white scrimmage Saturday helped a little bit. We had refs in. It wasn't a normal practice. We did a few drills with the refs, and then we listen. Look at that. Jim Weitzel gets more people.
He didn't even get introduced. You had to get an intro.
Yeah, they did his cheers as soon as he walks
impressive.
in.
He walked in and got cheers.
Sorry, he walked in a little
Guy's
late.
got some clout.
But he's big time like that.
Yeah.
So, no, I think, we videotape every practice, too. Now, we don't show video on every single one. Like, we'll come back, I tried it for the first week or two. We watch tape every – now, today we didn't watch film before practice. We will tomorrow. We kind of had some other stuff going on today. But I think watching the video on it you got to come up with different ways. And then, you know what, some days you'll do a lot more individual skill stuff instead of just grinding them up with a bunch of defensive drills. That you can't come in every day for 30 straight practices and just take an hour and a half and grind them up on defense. That's not fun, and it's not how they want to play. And I'm not gonna put them through that every day. Now, that some days you're gonna need to do that because you're gonna have to establish your defensive identity, but other days there's gonna be a lot of individual skill stuff, shooting, offensive execution, stuff like that. So you pick and choose what days you're going to do what in practice to keep it a little bit livened up like that.
It is the UB Basketball Insider with Nate Oats. This is the first of our weekly shows with Nate through the course of the basketball season. Their first game November 6th against Damon. A moment ago, he referenced Jim Weitzel, the associate head coach, one of the new guys on the staff of the Bulls. We're going to meet him when we get back. The UB Basketball Insider with Nate Oats. We are at Santora's Pizza Pub and Grill on Transit Road. Come on out, enjoy the show, enjoy the great food. Coming up at 7, we'll be bringing you the Lance Leipold Show, the UB Football Insider as well, on ESPN 1520.
Join us at Santora's Pizza Pub and Grill. Hey, it's Paul Santora letting you know we have 2 great locations. One on Millersport Highway next to the Marriott, one on Transit Road next to Transit Lanes. We've got 60 taps, 66 TVs. All of our food is made to order with the freshest and most natural ingredients. Both locations have live music, Millersport on Friday, Transit Friday and Saturday night. There's no better place to enjoy football and hockey with great drink and food specials for every game. Santora's Pizza Pub and Grill since 1927. 4 generations strong, the only family to say we are the original. Santora's Pizza Pub and Grill. Great food, great people, great beer.
On your website.
From U Sports to the NFL, A-Turf synthetic grass fields are helping athletes have fun and perform at their peak. More than 30 Western New York schools and over 400 schools nationwide call A-Turf their home field. It's what the UB Bulls play on and the Buffalo Bills too. A-Turf Titan has the highest safety rating and the longest warranty. A-Turf, optimal performance for athletes, superior value for owners. Learn more at aturf.com.
Hello, this is that Kegworks guy for the Kegworks store. Are you sick of that neighbor throwing the best party every year? We have everything you need to kick that guy's party right in the you-know-whats. From an extensive line of Jell-O shot supplies to keg pumps, premium cocktail mixers, beer pong tables, and so much more. So get to the Kegworks store at 1460 Military Road in Kenmore, just south of Sheridan. Until next time, this is that Kegworks guy reminding you, go to the Kegworks store.
We're 100% certain it's gonna rain, eventually. And we know it's gonna get dark tonight. Because we feel good these things will happen, Napa's taking up to 30% off select headlamps and wiper blades. Plus up to $10 back after mail-in rebate when you buy a pair. Big savings on headlamps and wipers. Bet you didn't see that coming. Conquer the job with Napa Know-How. At participating Napa Auto Parts stores while supplies last. Offer expires 11/14/15.
You're listening to ESPN 1520, the radio home of UB Athletics. Welcome back to the State University of New York Bulls UB Basketball Insider Show with head coach Nate Oats, presented by Napa Auto Parts. Now, here's Howard Simon.
And we are live at Santora's Pizza Pub and Grill on Transit Road, talking hoops with Nate Oats, and now joined by associate head coach Jim Weitzel. Getting a nice round of applause from Lance Leipold, who will be on at 7 o'clock with the UB Football Insider. Jim, welcome to the show. Nice to have you with us here
Thank
tonight.
you. It's great to be here. Appreciate it.
One of the new guys on the staff, I guess let's first go with the obvious. How'd you end up here at the University of Buffalo?
Well, I needed a job, and Nate called me up and said, I need an old guy on the staff. I think I got a shot at getting this head coaching job.
I didn't exactly.
So I said, I'm old and I'm ready. So, no, I've known Nate for about, 12 years before this happened when he coached at Romulus. And obviously he had a great program there, and we always looked to recruit there when I was in Chicago, at Loyola Chicago. One of my assistants, Pat Baldwin, got to know Nate really well. And always was very impressed. So when the opportunity came up, my wife Connie and I came here, and I knew I would love to work for Nate, and the big thing was how much she really enjoyed the community and the people here, and that was a home run, an absolute home run. So we're really excited to be here.
Well, you're definitely going to love it here. It is a great place to be. So when you were thinking about filling openings on the staff, what made you think of Jim?
You know what, I felt like I'd only been in Division I for a couple of years. You know, I'd been a head coach for a while, but at the high school level, I really wanted a guy that had been a head coach if I could get one at the Division I level. And then I knew Jim at, they were at St. John's. They made the NCAA tournament. And still, crazy as the business is, they got let go. And I reached out to him hoping he'd consider it. And he did. It was good. He came out He came out to kind of interview before I even had the job, to be honest with you. Like me and Danny had been talking about what my staff would look like if he hired me, and he was flying out on that Saturday morning. I got hired, not knowing I was going to get hired. I actually had texted Danny kind of the night before, like, listen, I've done recruiting visits for players, and I've got that down pretty well. I know what I'm doing. I've never done a recruiting visit for a coach, to help me out a little bit here. He said, why don't we meet at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning and go over what the itinerary looks like for Jim. And we met at 9, and that's when he was offering me the job. So Jim came in the day I got the job. So my phone was blowing up the whole day when I was with Jim. I really couldn't answer it. It was good. It was good reason not to answer it from all these people.
It was a really cool day that I really just see that happen, because I know how hard Nate had worked to get to this spot and all the work he had to do, as an assistant coach to help Bobby get the program where it was at. And it was very neat to see that, because certainly in coaching, they're hard jobs to get, and this is an incredible job and a great place to work.
What do you see as your role then? Like Nate was saying, I mean, you've got 30-plus years of college coaching experience. You've been at every level from community colleges to D3 to D2 to D1, head coach, assistant, associate coach. What do you see as your role? How do you help Nate out and work in this program?
I think you can make suggestions. I think sometimes you need to be a good listener and sometimes suggest, and other times just listen. Because I think as a head coach, you need time to bounce off ideas, and sometimes just talk out loud, and sometimes you need to just listen and get that. And I think sometimes you have to figure that out. And I think that's always important as an assistant coach. See where you think you might be able to help. And I think the biggest thing certainly is probably Nate knows what he wants to do offensively, much better than I do. And so he knows his team better. So my thing would be, what else can he help? Can he help on the defensive end? Can he help in, player personnel? Maybe a kid struggling and shooting the ball, maybe get some extra work from them. So I think it's a little bit of a Band-Aid here and there where you can be at, and just to kind of be steady in certain things, whatever he would want, and then you adjust from there.
Anytime I get a chance to talk to a coach, someone for the first time, I always like to talk about their influences. And you have worked with so many different people over the years. I definitely want to ask about Rick Majerus. Who are some of the guys that really influenced your coaching career a great deal?
Well, certainly Coach Majerus, because I had known him since he was I was 16 years old. I used to work his camps. And how I ended up there was very funny. But long story was, I ended up back down there in St. Louis, coming from Chicago, and really was a great experience. It was kind of like, I think every day you walk out with him, you'd walk out, gee, why didn't I do that as a head coach? Because he was so smart. I don't think you're not going to outthink him in the room, but along with it is how can you help him? And I think you learn that with him, because coaches, he's old school tough. I mean, no one runs a practice like him, and he gets after the kids. And so sometimes you have to be the good uncle. Sometimes you have to be playing one step ahead and be on your toes. But it was a really enjoyable. I worked for a guy named Dave Gunther at University of North Dakota, who was awesome. Ran the triangle and had an incredible run in North Dakota. I mean, just I think like 16 years out of 17, there was 20 wins. I mean, so I really had I was lucky when I was young to get involved with some great guys. A guy named Dan McCarroll, who won a lot of national championships at Division III. He was the first guy that helped me get my head coaching job. And those guys were just invaluable in terms of that. And lots of times I probably wasn't smart enough to figure it out until later on how helpful they really were in my life. I mean, it really was. But I was very fortunate. Really.
Jim Weitzel is with us. He's the associate head coach. Nate's here as well. We got another segment with the guys coming up in a moment. It is the UB Basketball Insider here at Santora's Pizza Pub and Grill. November 6th, the men's team will open their season November 6th. They host Damon. Arrive early. The team will raise the 2014-15 MAC Championship banner prior to the start of the game. Tip-off is at 9. For tickets and more information, call 1-877-UB there. More with Jim and Nate coming up. UB Basketball Insider at Santora's Pizza Pub and Grill on ESPN 1520.
Midweek football returns to UB Stadium on Wednesday, November 11th when the Bulls take on the Huskies of Northern Illinois on Military Appreciation Night. Kickoff is at 8 p.m., but the excitement starts at 5 p.m. right inside Stampede Square. Don't miss out on the tailgate concert featuring Fleetwood Mac tribute band Rumors. Live for game day. It's big-time entertainment you won't want to miss. For tickets and more information, call 877-UB-THERE or visit ubbulls.com.
Join us at Santora's Pizza Pub and Grill. Hey, it's Paul Santora letting you know we have 2 great locations. One on Millersport Highway next to the Marriott, one on Transit Road next to Transit Lanes. We've got 60 taps, 66 TVs. All of our food is made to order with the freshest and most natural ingredients. Both locations have live music, Millersport on Friday, Transit Friday and Saturday night. There's no better place to enjoy football and hockey with great drink and food specials for every game. Santora's Pizza Pub and Grill since 1927. 4 generations strong, the only family to say we are the original. Santora's Pizza Pub and Grill. Great food, great people, great beer.
When you buy Napa's 5-gallon 90th anniversary bucket for $2.99, almost anything you can stuff in it is 20% off. Like shop towels, grease guns, buffing pads, spark plugs, tire brush, ice scrapers, and glass cleaner. That's a bucket load of stuff. So pick up a Napa bucket for $2.99 today and start saving 20% on anything you can fit inside. Conquer the job with Napa Know-How. At participating Napa Auto Parts stores, minimum 3 items. Some exclusions apply. Offer good while supplies last.
Hello, this is that Kegworks guy for the Kegworks store. Are you sick of that neighbor throwing the best party every year? We have everything you need to kick that guy's party right in the you-know-whats. From an extensive line of Jell-O shot supplies to keg pumps, premium cocktail mixers, beer pong tables, and so much more. So get to the Kegworks store at 1460 Military Road in Kenmore, just south of Sheridan. Until next time, this is that Kegworks guy reminding you, go to the Kegworks store.
You're listening to ESPN 1520, the radio home of UB Athletics. Welcome back to the State University of New York Bulls UB Basketball Insider Show with head coach Nate Oats, presented by Napa Auto Parts. Now, here's Howard Simon.
All right, we are back with Nate Oats and associate head coach Tim Weitzel. And a reminder, you can check out the women's team as well. They will have a pair of games coming up. First one, November 3rd against Clarion, 7 p.m. Then November 7th against Damon at 2. If you'd like more information on getting tickets to see the UB women's team, again, you can visit ubbulls.com. I asked you a little bit about players. You have a number of new players, but you've got new assistants too. Do coaches have to gel? Is there an assimilation process or a get-to-know-you process with a coaching staff?
No, I think there definitely is, especially figuring out who's going to kind of – and you know what? During the whole interview process, Jim was really – he talked to me a lot about that. What do you want me to do? What am I going to – what's my role going to be? He's coached for a long time, so obviously he doesn't want to come in somewhere where he's not needed or wanted, and he's kind of taken over the defensive side of it. And once scouting reports come up, Rick Majerus may be the best scouting coach ever in college basketball, at least one at the top of that deal. Like he's going to be a big help with that, and we've already talked about that. So, he's been big that way. Danielle Marshall, kind of, and Jim's kind of working with the guards a lot. Danielle's working with the bigs a lot. Jim gets out, gets a lot of shots up before practice with guys. Danielle gets out and works with the bigs before practice. So, we get along well that way. Brian's kind of the young guy. Kind of been, recruited those 3 JUCO guys in. Kind of, he's the guy that's a little closer in age to the guys, maybe meets with them a little bit. Jim's been a head coach for a while and can kind of get on the guys, and Danielle's played in the NBA. They all got their different role. Coach Hodge, we got Julius Hodge on staff too. Guys can always go. He's great with the guys too. The players love talking to him, picking his brain, like outside of practice and whatever. So I think we've gelled pretty well, to be honest with you, for the most part. We all got to feel each other out, though, definitely. Like who's going to say what, who's going to talk. Can't have 4 guys talking all the time in practice. It doesn't work that way. So kind of guys have to learn when to take their turns to speak. And I think we're figuring that out pretty well.
Seemed to be working fine at practice today. You guys were picking your spots and each getting in whatever coaching had to be gotten in at the time. Since you're working with the guards, we were talking to Nate earlier about Lamonte Bearden and Jaron Skeet. What do you see from these guys? What have you learned about them every day watching them in practice?
Well, first of all, they're a lot of fun to work with because they're nice kids. I mean, they're really, they come in, they make you laugh almost every day, so especially Lamonte. He makes me laugh every day. Jaron's he's going to be a good basketball coach when he's done. I mean, I think he's got a great basketball IQ. They're both very, very good players, and I think they're going to have great seasons to be the year we want to have, which they're both very capable of doing, because Lamonte is a kid can get the ball from point A to B in a hurry and make plays for others. And Jaron needs to score the ball for us and shoot it, which he's done very well in practice, And I think one thing Coach, man, he has such a good relationship with both these guys. I think also what he's doing is showing them now every day a little bit more of leadership, what he needs from them. And that's communication. I think they really have a good feel what he wants from them. And each day I think he's been chipping away at leadership roles, leadership qualities that he needs from them. That doesn't happen overnight, but that is the evolution of those two kids. So those two guys I think we feel really good about. We like our other guys. We just, we're probably still trying to figure out where they're at, the other guards, but we think we've got some depth there and some guys that can play some multiple spots.
Well, guys, we're looking forward to a heck of a year. Good luck getting the guys through the rest of the grind, through the preseason practices. But, Jim, it was very nice meeting you. Nate, good to see you again, and we'll be talking to you every week now.
Thanks,
so good
Howard.
luck, fellas.
Appreciate
Thank you.
Hey,
Thank
let's
you,
make
Howard.
sure we got Lance coming on after us.
Yes.
We're going to talk about running the score up and stuff.
Yeah.
You know what? And he used to come in with a sport coat on. Now that he won big, he comes in with no sport coat on. I don't know if
no tie,
no nothing.
Not even a university, the nice university polo.
After you run up the score, you can do what you want.
So you think you're rubbing it? Yeah. Okay. I didn't realize that. Well, you know how those Wisconsin Whitewater guys are. You would know, right?
Yeah, you know how they are.
You guys are always running up the score.
Yeah.
Thanks, fellas, very much.
All right,
Thank you.
We're going to take a short break. We're going to transition over to the UB Football Insider. Lance Leipold is coming up next. Hey, quick reminder. Here at Santora's, Halloween is coming up. They've got a Halloween party, October 31st, of course, Halloween, 9 p.m. Costume contest will be going on. They'll be giving out prizes for the best costume. There'll be live music from Nerds Gone Wild. That is coming up Halloween night, 9 o'clock at Santora's on Transit Road. Back with Lance and the UB Football Insider in a moment on ESPN 1520.
This has been the UB Basketball Insider Show presented by Napa Auto Parts. You're listening to ESPN 1520, the radio home of UB Athletics. For Bulls updates 24/7, visit ubbulls.com.